Welcome to the York County Community Foundation's 2025 Grant Program Information Session. I'm Michelle Mummert, Vice President of Grants and Community Engagement. We're pleased to share important details of our grant opportunities with you. This is a pre-recorded session so that you will have the option to reference it at any time on our website. In this video presentation, we will be providing an overview of our grant opportunities in 2025. We will introduce you to our team, share priorities and funding options. We'll step through the process for applying and managing grants. Finally, we will recap changes to the program and offer some resources for guidance and funding support. Next, it's my pleasure to introduce you to our community engagement team. We're here to help cultivate your project ideas and assist you through the grants process. Our team includes myself, along with Kathy, Layla, Jason, and Donise. While each of us hold individual responsibilities in the grant-making process, collectively we share a commitment to supporting potential and current grantees. Beyond our grants team, we have the strength of our entire York County Community Foundation team behind us, who has collective expertise in fund management, finance, marketing, and other specialty areas. Whether you're a first-time grant applicant or previous grantee, we're excited to partner with you to make York County a more vibrant community. Our primary goal in grant making at the Foundation is to fuel community transformation. We want to create opportunities for everyone to thrive today and in the future by funding high-impact initiatives. What this means is that we aim to be a catalyst as a funder by seeding new ideas that lead to community transformation. Oftentimes, this is achieved through collaboration by multiple partners in the community who are all focused on defining root causes and together driving impact-focused efforts to shift outcomes in a favorable direction. As good stewards of community funds, our team actively seeks to grant fund project ideas that are impact-focused, measurable, and designed to address the issues and challenges within our community in a transformative way. We define our strategic focus areas by compiling information from a variety of sources. For example, we look at community input that we get from individuals and organizations we engage with on a daily basis. We look at data and research, assessments that were performed in the community, and planning documents within government and other sectors. We consider our donor interests and align all of this with our organization's overarching strategy. We aim to identify our grant-making strategies that advance our mission, vision, and values. We believe that our current grant-making strategic focus areas are still relevant, and by continued investment in these areas, we can make progress toward advancing our mission and vision to create that community where everyone can thrive in York County. By aligning our funding priorities across multiple unique funds, we have the ability to affect change in multiple ways. Our network of nonprofit organizations who are supported by our grant program are the ones who are leading that impact-focused change each day. Together, when we share a vision and mission for community transformation, we can achieve it together. Our Fund for York County is a discretionary fund that gives us the opportunity to fuel unique and innovative projects. There are 5 primary areas of focus for grant making within this fund, including career development, child and youth development, health, housing, and transportation. What we call this is our 5 to Thrive focus areas. Projects funded from this Fund for York County should align with one or more of these focus areas and demonstrate how the efforts are helping low-income individuals and families build economic mobility. Our funds under the Embracing Aging Initiative exists to grant dollars towards efforts to serve people who are 50 years and older. Similar to the Fund for York County, the Embracing Aging funds prioritize grant projects that promote health and well-being, often by addressing social barriers like housing, transportation, and loneliness, specific for older adults. The Racial Equity Fund has been developed to address equity gaps for communities of color. There are 6 primary focus areas. Project ideas funded by the Racial Equity Fund should address one or more of these areas: education job readiness, justice system involvement, community leadership, wealth creation, racial and cultural education, and health and wellness, and be designed to close the racial equity gap. We also have 3 different funds promoting environmental stewardship. Our Agricultural and Land Preservation Fund supports projects that improve farming and land preservation across the county. The Codorus Watershed Fund seeks to improve the health and vitality of the Codorus and its environs. The Sustainable Energy Fund helps nonprofit organizations conserve energy and reduce operating costs, with a desire to fund large-scale projects to transform how we think about energy conservation as a community. The Memorial Health Fund is a supporting organization of the Community Foundation. This board seeks to transform how the community addresses health issues by funding programs that are improving physical health, mental health, and social well-being for all York County residents. Finally, there are a plethora of funds at the York County Community Foundations designated by generous donors to support causes that are important to them in perpetuity. Examples of areas of interest include disease-specific care, beautification projects, historical preservation, LGBTQ+ education and awareness, arts and culture, people and animals in need, craftsmanship, emergency services, and midwifery services. If you have a project concept and are uncertain about the availability of funds that might match your idea, we invite you to submit a grant inquiry form on our website, and we will investigate available funding options with you and make sure that we provide the option that is best suited. Our York County Community Foundation's competitive grant program is designed to fund program expansions and new program development. We also consider capacity building initiatives, whereas the funds could serve as a bridge to a more sustainable and/or enlarging funding sources in the long term. We will also support planning and research projects designed to better understand and address complex community issues. The 2023 annual report is a wonderful reference tool to learn about projects that were recently funded. In 2025, we will be approving grant awards in 3 rounds. While we will accept applications at any time, the application due dates for each round are firm. If you are considering applying for funds, please think about your project start date and be sure to submit your application for the due date that corresponds with a project start date that is early enough to meet your desired timeline. Again, you can submit a grant inquiry which will initiate an application at any time. You will just want to be cognizant of the application due dates if your project is time sensitive. To be eligible for grant funding, your organization must be a 501c3 organization for at least 1 year or a government or public school entity. We do not grant fund to individuals or to for-profit entities. Grant projects must support services made directly to our York County community. If you are a current or previous grantee, all of your grant obligations must be up to date prior to receiving new awards. This includes signed agreements and follow-up reports that might be due.
It is possible to have more than one active grant with York County Community Foundation since we manage a number of diverse funds from which grants are awarded. Through our grant inquiry form, you can share your project idea and we will help match your concept to the best funding sources. Another requirement of grantees is the existence of an anti-discrimination policy. If you're uncertain about your eligibility or need guidance, let us know. We'd be happy to help.
There are a number of financial needs that organizations may have that are not eligible for York County Community Foundation's competitive grant program. The following would not be considered for funding through our program. Requests that create or add to an endowment or help with operational budget shortfalls, debt retirement, or association dues. We don't support sectarian religious programs or organizations with discriminatory practices. We also don't provide direct financial assistance to individuals or fund expenses that were incurred prior to the approval of a grant project. The grant eligibility requirements are outlined on our website for your reference. Once you confirm eligibility, it's easy to apply for the Foundation's grant program. First, you click the grant login at the header of our web pages. From here, you'll be able to create a grant portal for your organization or log into your existing portal. Second, you can complete and submit the grant inquiry form on the portal for your project concept. Third, our team will review and contact you with next steps. Depending on your submission, we may suggest a brief meeting or may automatically advance you to the application phase. Typically, this determination is completed within a week or two. Once you have access to the application, you're able to log in and out as you complete it. We encourage you to take your time to write a quality application. You don't need a lengthy narrative, just make sure your story is crisp, clear, and compelling. Describe your budget in a way that the grant evaluators can understand and tie back the math to your narrative. Be clear what you're asking to be paid for from the grant dollars. Make sure your focus is on the need and the impact you're trying to achieve. Use data to show desired change in outcomes based on the activities you are performing under the grant project. Use what we call SMART metrics. They should be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. It's also important to have a sustainability plan if your project is intended to continue beyond the grant period. What measures will you take to sustain that work beyond the initial funding? It will be important for you to tell that story. Finally, be sure to share within your narrative how you will partner with other organizations who do similar or complementary work. It's important to the grant evaluators to know how you are leveraging available resources and not duplicating efforts to address a community need. Here are some more quick tips to consider before submitting your application. First, always have someone review the application and provide some feedback. You can always view and download a copy of the application from our website to prepare for your online submission. There are a number of documents that you will need to include in your application, and you can collect these at any time and attach to the online application. Be sure that they're included before you submit the documents. And remember, be sure to use SMART outcome metrics to demonstrate how you intend to drive change through your project's work. Once you submit your grant application, it will advance through the evaluation process. Our grants team previews it for eligibility and completeness. If we identify after reading the narrative that it might be a fit for a different or multiple funding sources, we'll be in touch. During the next phase, the application will be assigned to designated grant-making committee members, community volunteer grant readers, or internal staff. This is determined by the funding source and possibly the dollar amount of the request. Grants that are reviewed and recommended for funding by the appropriate evaluators must then be approved by our York County Community Foundation Board. Our grant schedule is strategically aligned with our board meetings. In special circumstances, this approval could occur outside of scheduled meetings. Shortly after we receive board approval, organizations with successful grant applications will be notified. At that time, our grants team will share any special conditions or feedback that we can pass along to you. Grant agreements will be initiated for your review. Grant payments will be issued upon receipt of the executed agreement by your organization's authorized signer. At that time, you will be assigned any future follow-up reports that you can submit online through your grants portal as they are due. We think about successful grant making in 3 stages. First, you accept the grant by signing and returning the agreement outlined with the terms and conditions agreed upon, including future submission reporting, progress, and results. These are simple one-page submissions. Depending on the length of your project and the amount of the award, you may have an interim report due prior to the final follow-up report. Every grant will require at least a single-page final follow-up grant report. Second, you will implement your project, during which time you will collect data, complete that interim report if applicable, and let us know if there are any major changes to your project along the way. The third and final stage is the assessment. This is the submission of the follow-up report where you share your data and your outcomes. We're always interested in what you learn and how you were successful, and where those challenges were along the journey. Please share stories and photos with us so we have the opportunity to highlight your great work with others in the community. Going along with sharing your stories, we ask that you help others learn about the opportunities for giving and for grant making through our York County Community Foundation by identifying us as a source of financial support. You can download logos from our website or reach out to Sarah, our VP of Communications, for guidance as necessary. If you host events or have other activities where we can see your work in action, let us know. We love to create partnerships with community agencies that we grant fund through our program. As you manage your grant, keep these tips top of mind. Don't hesitate to let us know if your project isn't going as planned. We can work with you to develop a change request, whether that is extending the project timeline or maybe taking a different path than you had originally planned. The most important thing is letting us know if you suspect the terms of the grant may not be met as intended. Keep your grants portal contact information up to date so that someone within your organization always has access to the grant materials. Make sure that you submit follow-up reports by the deadline so that you're eligible for future grant opportunities. And again, just a reminder to keep us informed of your progress along the way. For organizations that received grants from York County Community Foundation recently, we just put together this simple recap of changes for 2025. We hope that our universal grant inquiry form is easier for you by eliminating the need for you to identify the best funding sources within the foundation. Our grant schedule is also universal across all funding options, so the dates are easier for you to remember, and we hope that we have more time through this streamlined process to engage with you and our other grantees on an individual basis. Beyond these changes, our funding priorities are staying the course. We are still engaging community grant readers for smaller awards. For the most part, our grant applications and management processes are consistent, and we're still accepting applications on a rolling basis. As a team, we are focusing on process improvement. So if you have feedback for us, please reach out to one of us or submit your thoughts to us via email. We would love to hear. Our team also compiled this list of resources for those of you who are seeking to improve your grant writing or apply for other funding opportunities. We hope these are useful. If you have other resources that you find valuable, let us know, and we'd be happy to share those resources with other organizations that we partner with in our community as well.